Thank you for staying tuned. Well, our focus today would first have us talking about the International Youth Day, but through the lens of the Niger Delta. The theme of the International Youth Day 2025 is local youth actions for the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and beyond, and highlights the unique role of youth in translating global ambitions into community-driven realities. Yes, the slogans are beautiful, but beyond the photo ops, what are the lessons, opportunities, and challenges for the youth in real terms? There are issues on unemployment and calls for entrepreneurship to be looked into more, educational inclusion, as well as has been really loud in the region. What takeaways should Niger Delta states walk away with after this year's observance? I have joining us in the studio Executive Administrator, God's Family Champions Foundation, Janet Oko.
Thank you.
You're welcome on the program.
Thank you.
We have also Youth Leadership Advocate, Victor Joles. You're welcome on the program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
It's always interesting to speak on the issue of youth development, and this day is particularly significant when we look at the realities in the country and the concerns around security, the concerns around economic challenges that the citizens are dealing with, and how it affects youth specifically. And you know that when you talk about youth, you need to be really careful with the way you handle issues concerning youth. But then, in the spirit of the significance of Youth Day 2025, I'd like you to bring us up to speed with how you've appraised this theme and its relationship to youth inclusivity in the Niger Delta region. Do you think that we've been doing great so far?
Absolutely agreed. Now, the theme is basically about localizing opportunities, in communities by the youth. And then this aligns with the 17th SDG goal of the United Nations, which is about partnership. All right, so the SDG goals, the United Nations want all of us across the world, especially young people, because we have the strength, we have the resilience, we have the mindset, we have the focus, to move into communities, to drive change, to drive development, to bring a new thrive, to bring a new era, even in this era of impossibility, even in this era of uncertainty where you do not know what the next second or the next minute holds. So yeah, in the Niger Delta, we are doing great and we are doing well. And of course, there are opportunities, there are challenges, but then we're moving forward.
All right. Well, that also brings me to my next question. I'd like to come to you, Victor Joles. Now, when you look across the Niger Delta, there's a lot of innovation taking place.
Yeah.
We talk about tech now very frequently, and a lot of young people are really showing themselves approved, distinguishing themselves in crafts that have to do with technology.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that we've had enough of both government and private support for youths in the Niger Delta region, or can we do more?
Yes, we can do more. There can never be enough because life is progressive and things changes. So we need to do more. Yes, the government is doing as much as possible, but there's a need for more. And just like Janet said, I think there's a call for partnership and collaboration, right, where the government, the private sectors, and the government comes together to empower these youths. Yes, we need to do more. We need to do more because there is more to be done. We need to do more because innovation and creativity is involved. We need to do more because the nation calls for more. So yes,
we need to do more. You need to do more. Yes. Which area do we really need to do more?
To me, I would say in all areas, but specifically because we're living in a digital world, so I think we need to do more in tech.
Okay.
Right, in tech, and when I mean tech, I mean all aspects of tech, edu-tech, agri-tech, fintech. All right, so we need to do more.
So would you also say that the youth are taking advantage of technology to engage in global conversations, international conversation politically? Because these days it's all about content creation and marketing. What about conversations that have to do with democracy and all this international? Are we taking advantage of technology in that regard?
Yes, we are, but on a very serious, if I must be very sincere, I think we need to do more in that aspect. All right, I think what our youths are doing more is engaging the tech or technology in respect to visibility, content creation, and what have you. But I think we can go beyond that to see how we can be able to bring something to the table on the international platforms, all right, in terms of democracy politics. All right, I think we need to do more. And using the technology, it's also important to know that technology is a tool. And in this age, it is as powerful as any other thing. It's as powerful as a grenade. It's as powerful as whatever it is. And using it in that platform of talking about what the economy can be, and what the nation can be in the international space is very important. Yes.
All right, Janet, you're executive director, God's
Family of Champions
God's Family Champions Foundation.
Yes.
I'd like to know how important this conversation of the Youth Day is to your foundation, and why you feel it is necessary to always hammer on the subject of the youth. If you were to appraise, put it on a scale, the work that has gone into youth development thus far in the Niger Delta region, how would you respond to it? How would you rate it? And then, if you were to talk about Akwa Ibom State specifically and the different programs that have been put in place by the state government, do you think that these moves or steps that have been taken thus far are commendable enough? And what level of partnership would you encourage to be seen in such a way that youths can be more supported?
That's quite long. Well, let's take it in bits. So first of all, you talked about how relevant this discussion is to my foundation. Now, bear in mind that we are a community of very young people. Most of us are still students. Most of us are trying to find a fit. This conversation is important because it reminds us of the need of why we are here. It reminds us of the things, of our values, our visions, our goals. Why is GCFC in existence in the first place? Why have we come here? We've come here to help young people to come to a place of moving from their purpose to making profit. And then when we talk about moving from purpose to profit, it is not that you're going to separate the two. They are not opposite, but it is a way of working with the two to attain your goal, to achieve your aim. And then when you talk about the Niger Delta development in terms of building young people, I must say that we are doing well. We've had several NDDC programs that have been running, that are still running, that will still be running. But well, the thing is, how many people have actually signed up? All right, so we cannot say that we are not doing the job. We cannot say that the government is not supportive. The government has been very supportive. But then, who is open-minded? Or would they say, don't worry, they've already taken who they wanted? All right, so how many people are rising to the occasion? That is another question that should be asked. But beyond that, I think that we are doing well. In Akwa Ibom State, we must commend His Excellency the Governor. I always say that he's a human-centered administrator. He's a leader. He's a father. Because I remember vividly when I was live at the field, the stadium where we did their 2,000+ empowerment program. You know, we had various sorts of empowerment, from equipment to cash and so on. You could see that this man did this thing not because he wanted to politicize it, but because he has seen the need to empower young people. And when we spoke to those people on very personal, grounds, they said that it wasn't based on man, no man. The guys had to come down to where they were to do a proper assessment of what they were actually doing, to be able to earn them those schemes, those supports that they want. So yes, Akwa Ibom State is doing well when it comes to building young people, when it comes to human capacity development. Of course, like Oliver Twist will always ask for more. We can never have enough, like Pastor Riley said. We still call for more, because every day more young people are rising. Every day more people are born into the world. And so you won't stop offering all of those opportunities.
All right, Ms. Janet, you mentioned purpose and profits. How can we distinguish between the purpose and profits, and how do we create a balance between both?
Okay, so exactly. So when we talk about purpose, you ask yourself a question: what am I here for? You're seated right on this other way. Why are you here? All right, what is that thing that is driving you to sit on this screen every other day and do what you do? So that purpose brings us to a place of self-discovery. Now, when you discover who you are and the things that God has imputed in you, because you can't talk about self-discovery when you do not mention the Creator, because He's the one that left you the way you are. He has made you who you are. The work that you have here on earth is to build on what He has already fixed. So when we talk about purpose, it is about self-discovery and knowing who you are and the things that you have been called to do. Now, when we talk about profits, a lot of people may just live their lives and say, I'm called to be a singer, I'm just going to sing and give God all the glory. But how can you harness, your talents of singing to bring profits to yourself? It could come by collaborations, doing maybe studio gigs, doing presentations, going to church programs, organizing events. As such, you might have the profit. It may not be cash, but it could be connection, partnership, and the likes. So that's what we're talking about, purpose to profit.
Okay, so I'm going to ask us, two of you, a two-pronged question. I'd expect answers from both of you. I'll start with you, Janet. If we were to fast forward to 2030 now, what do you hope to realize when we talk about youth development in the Niger Delta region? What are those dreams that you feel, if by 2030 you'll be able to achieve it?
One of my greatest dreams by 2030 is to localize opportunities. We can't just stay here in the capital and expect and then assume that, everyone is faring well. Let us go into the grassroots. That is where it all begins. All right, so we could just be having our lives here, but more of the people in the grassroots, they're not getting it. They do not know what is happening. They do not know the opportunities. They do not even know. Some of them do not even have access to internet. All right, so how do they get to keep in touch? So let's have that life that from the grassroots, everything is aligned. It's like about talking about from the head, to the toes. That when the head is not right, the rest of the body might have issues. So in this context, the grassroots is the crux. So when we get it right at the grassroots, every other thing will flow. So by 2030, let us see that from the grassroots, everyone is carried along, opportunities are sent across board, and then everyone is doing well and rising to occasions.
All right, Victor Joel.
Janet has said it all, so I think I'll just crown it with, by 2030, we want to see intentions become executions. We want to see words become actions. All right, we want to see the youth rise from the grassroots to the limelight. We want to see opportunities, real-time opportunities given to the youth, especially in politics.
That's because the conversation is also on inclusivity, and the statistics is showing that a staggering number of youths are being left behind.
That's correct.
Well, thank you very much, Youth Leadership Advocate Victor Joels, for coming on Niger Delta today. And to you, Executive Administrator, God's Family Champions Foundation, Janet Okon. Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you for having us. Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
All right, so take a breather. When we return, our next conversation will be around pipeline surveillance in the Niger Delta region. What are we getting right, and what should be put in place? Let's stay tuned.